whereas most of the country does not support it statistically. But we still going to support. We're going to still continue to bomb Palestine. I'm not saying Palestinians or they haven't had. I'm not. Look. What I am saying is, I'm not saying that people won't like people and all this. But guess what? Most people in the world don't like black people in America. Most people think we heathens. Most people think we are buffoons. Most people think that we are ignoramuses. Most people think we are lazy, phlegmatic. And guess who taught us that? White supremacy culture. So I ain't going with that. That ain't strong enough. You got to come again. But what I'm saying is, I love you, brother. But that ain't working because the popularity contest doesn't mean a thing.
Most people in the world don't like black people.
Well, I have more to say, but Prophet Perspective, if you want to jump in.
What? He need to turn his speakers down. Look, that's my cousin, JT. You know, he's a troublemaker like you.
You gotta mute your mic.
He coming to beat me up. I'm scared. These are heavyweights right here, Queen. These are heavyweights coming here. Look, look.
That's
so the research I'm talking about. Let me tell you the research I'm talking about. JT Facts. It's not about policies. I've looked at enough of. I'm researching behaviors. I'm researching history. So what historically. I don't have to know every policy of Kamala in the Democratic Party, nor the Republican Party know they BS. I don't have to eat a whole cow to know they BS. I know patterns in the Democratic. I'm talking about on a national level. I ain't saying your boys ain't doing something in Brooklyn. I ain't saying my main man ain't doing something in Baltimore. But what I am saying is those in the top position, for the most part. When you look at the patterns and historically, they have not done things to really help us get help black people in America to move to. Let me see. I'm trying to say the word in a way that's clear. They have not helped liberate black people.
All right. I want to go to. I've been dying to get this point out for a long time. Queen touched on it earlier tonight. It seems like black folks want direct help, but it's very difficult in our society to say you're directly helping us. You can indirectly help us without saying it. Okay, like Queen said, the child tax credit that they want to do, that will help black people. You don't have to say it's the black child tax credit for it to help us. Okay, so it will help us even if it's not saying it's the black child tax credit. The thing with the medication with the insulin, who doesn't know? If you're a black person in America, everybody knows somebody that has diabetes. We all know somebody who had diabetes. That's a black program. It's
that
not
doesn't
called the black insulin program, but it's a black program.
I get it.
Say it's a black program.
I get it.
Okay.
I get
Literally, Obamacare was a black program.
I get it.
Say black Obamacare, but who's Obamacare helping?
It doesn't change the conditions. It does not change the conditions of our people.
20 million
it does not. No. I am talking about.
You know what it
JT.
is? I think you guys, your expectations is a little bit too much. Change doesn't happen with a snap of your fingers. Change happens.
Well, guess what? But guess what, JT? We need those people over here that you calling you guys. You know, you trumping now. You guys, you trumping. Hold up. Where Trump from? Brooklyn? Where he from? Queens? Where he from? Where Trump from? Brooklyn? Y'all talking like you guys, you all, you Negroes, you alls. But look, no. What I'm saying, but I get what you're saying but JT, the best political scholars that you read will call BS on what you just said. And when I say political, I ain't talking about this politics. I ain't talking about the duopoly. But what I am saying is, say it again. You sound like Trump. Say it again. I think you guys want too much. Like what? Like what? Are you? Did you switch? You need to go put the MAGA hat on now. I mean, Kamala wouldn't even say that. Kamala wouldn't even say that. What are you talking about? We asking for too much. Are you for reparations? Are you for reparations? Are you for reparations? Say it again.
I think that there's different groups within the Black community, even though we all can still be together. I'm just saying that certain Black people will not see a program as helping us unless you have the term Black in front of it.
No,
there's those people and there's other people who understand.
I'm not even talking about that.
Program can help you, even though it doesn't say Black in front of it.
And let me be clear. Let me be clear. I don't care if it has Black in front of it. Those programs ain't gonna help us to change our position in this society. Something else has to happen. You understand? You can put black.
What would be your ultimate solution? Like how would you envision the best outcome for Black people? What would that be? Because I think your expectations are a little bit too high.
No, it's not.
Change doesn't come quickly like that. Guess
what? I'm gonna let Big Cuz.
1960s? Are we the same as we was in the crap hour of 1980s?
We actually we're not. In some cases, we're worse.
We're not worse, dude.
In some cases, hey, bro, what are you talking about? Our families. Let's go. Absolutely.
In which we're worse than we were.
All right, stop right there. Absolutely, our families are in more shambles than where we were in the 1960s. Let's go. What's next? Bro, I do my research. Hey, I do my research. I don't have to research Kamala's points to understand about social conditions. I research social conditions.
Let's talk about social conditioning. That's debatable.
It's not that debatable. It's not that debatable.
Versus family.
I got stats on our families, bro.
You would rather have family togetherness than,
hold on.
Let's say, for example,
say it again. Say it again, JT. Facts. Say it again, JT. JT, say it again. JT, say it again. We couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry, bro. What I said is, okay, what I'm saying is this. You're saying our families were more together back then, correct?
I'm saying the statistics that you're telling me to cite a thing, I'm citing statistics. Yes.
Okay. So I would say to you, yes, perhaps we had more family togetherness, but we had so many other things that was against us. Then the family togetherness point that you made is very small compared.
We didn't have an opioid. Let me give you another one. We didn't have these drug problems. We haven't had these opioid problems. We haven't had these cities where they look like Baltimore, where they have these vacancy problems. I'm not saying that things weren't. I'm saying, now keep in mind what I'm saying. I am saying, to quote what I said earlier, that some things seemingly have improved while others have devolved.
I can see
that.
You see that, you're right.
Yes. Let's go with proper.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Bless him, yes.
Okay, peace. Okay, so the thing he's talking about right now about us being better off today. He said, tell me one thing. I'm like, Black generational wealth is another one. You already said one, but Black generational wealth is another one where all the research has been done. And they say 100 years ago, Black families on a whole had a hell of a lot more money, more generational wealth 100 years ago than they do today. And today it's like we are at 1/10 the wealth of a typical white family. So that's a second one where there's no way you can say we're better off today. I'm not saying that there's nothing that is better today. But there are clearly things that are very much worse off today. And So the idea of just saying, you want too much, you're expecting change too fast, that's played out. That's way beyond what's going on now. Wanting reparations is not wanting too much too soon. We were owed reparations 400 years ago. We were owed reparations 200 years ago. So to say, well, you're asking for too much, that's what they said when we were in chains and we wanted chains off. You're asking for too much. So
I'm not saying we're asking for too much. Maybe if I said that I spoke incorrectly. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it seems like Dennis was asking for change right now, quickly, versus a gradual process of change. That's what I'm saying. It's not that I'm saying we asking too much. I'm saying that change doesn't happen quickly. It's a gradual process, and eventually it happens at the end. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So, and if you want to have the reparations debate, maybe we need to have another show, because I got some thoughts on that too. But all I'm saying is, like, you talk about how we were doing better back then in terms of percentages, but the amount of money that Black people have right now is much more than what we had back then. If you look at the growth, if you look at the growth, I'm not talking about
with inflation. With inflation included. Are you talking about with inflation?
I'm talking about the gross number of money.
But you have to account for inflation. You have to account for inflation. You have to account for inflation.
Hey, let's count for inflation. I mean,
I don't know the number, but I know the statistic. I know the fact that fact is that with inflation, we're nowhere near what we used to be. In fact, home ownership,
gross amount, not the percentage.
We ain't talking about growth. Gross don't mean nothing. That's like going to Jamaica tomorrow. Let me give you an example. That's like going to Jamaica and now you become a millionaire because you got US dollars, and now you realize $1 million in Jamaica ain't nothing. So that's an analogy. The other thing is, I never asked for, and I'm gonna turn it back over to Proper. I never asked for quick change. I just asked for methodology or objectives that can get us to change. I know change is a progressive process or a protracted process. Proper.
Right, like the idea of even requesting and asking and fighting for reparations. The change, we're still in that process. So the idea of asking for too much or asking for too soon, like right now, the question is, which party could we even possibly move the needle on that issue? So if it's correct that we can't expect to get it tomorrow or to get it the day after the election, cool. But which party can we expect to have a reasonable conversation about reparations? You can't expect it from the Republicans, and you can't expect it from the Democrats, because both of them have said no in one way or another. The Republicans have said absolutely not. It's a non-starter. I don't want to hear it. Get out my office if that's what you want to talk to me about. The Democrats have said, come on in. We'll talk to you. No. Goodbye. So neither party is doing anything. The third parties are the only ones that's saying, here it is. It's in the platform. We are going to campaign about it. Every time they get in front of a microphone, every time they get on social media or a television station, they say, we believe in reparations. African Americans have owed it. They deserve it. They should get it. If you put us in office, we're going to work to get it.
Okay, Proper. I hate to correct you, brother, but I will. Haven't there been some movement on reparations already around the country? And what happened? It's been no. Hold on. No.
California.
No,
California made this big stink.
There's been some movement.
They made the big stink, and then they voted everything down.
Made this big stink of building it up, and then said
and voted it down.
There have been a couple of cities that have said, we're going to start some reparations programs in our city. And that's cool for those cities, but that is not the reparations movement, because the reparations movement is supposed to come from the absolute top. It's not supposed to come from this city and that city. That's the same thing as states' rights that Trump be trying to pull on people. Reparations is a full-scale federal government activity. Otherwise, that's just like if I can send $100 to some citizen in Ukraine and say I helped fight the war, no, I didn't. That ain't nothing.
Robert, then you just hold on. You started this reparations talk saying that neither the Democrats nor the Republicans are even willing to have the conversation. I'm looking at an article right now that says California is the first state to tackle reparations for Black residents. Isn't that a Democratic administration in California?
What you're missing is the full breadth of what I said was they started a conversation, and when it came to vote, they voted it down. And
the Democratic Party.
That was the Democratic Party. And what I'm saying is, literally, the Republicans say, get out the office. We're not having a conversation. What the Democrats say is, come on into the office. We can talk. And at the end of the conversation, the Democrats say, no, goodbye. So just because you have a conversation, if you're open-minded enough to say we can talk, but you're closed-minded enough to say I'm not going to give it to you, that's a non-starter. That's not reality. That's not effective.
So proper. Just because they voted it no, does that mean now you have to give up? Now, if it was the Republicans, the Republicans will always say no. The difference between the Democrats and the Republicans is that the Democrats are persuadable. Even if they say no now, you may be.
But how is it persuadable, JT? Persuadable doesn't mean
never be able to be persuaded for reparations, and that's
persuadable is not saying I'm gonna do something. But when you say persuadable, it has to have some teeth to it. Persuadable is not saying, okay, that sounds good, it looks good, let's talk about it, and then never do anything. Persuadable is what are we going to do right now to get it done? And they're not there. You're giving these folks a lot of love, and they are shitting on your community, bro.
Okay,
literally.
If you put the thing down, if you put it on persuadable, we're supposed to have this evaluation based on who is persuadable. The third party, Cornel West Party, is persuadable. The Socialist Party is persuadable. The Green Party is persuadable.
Why are you even talking about
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they.
And they will
it
never
doesn't matter.
Who doesn't have any support?
The third party, he's talking about Cornel West.
They got listen. These third parties gonna have some support, brother.
All three of the major.
They never will.
But
all three of the major third parties are on the ballot in. I believe the last time I looked, Cornel West is on the ballot in almost 40 of the 50 states. Jill Stein is, I can't remember the numbers, but the third parties are on the ballots either completely 100% or they're on the ballot enough to be a write-in in almost all of the states. Now, I'm not saying that they have the numbers to effectively win the election. But what I'm saying is, if you do not start to vote for people who promise that I absolutely have your interest at heart, and you continue to vote for people that say, I might let you come talk, then all you're going to get is a possible conversation.
Ain't proper. Let me bust in here real quick. Hold on. Let me bust in here real quick. And guess who called me out? Hold up. Guess who called me out for one instant? Guess who called me out for wanting change right now? And this, what my man JT Fax is doing, is saying that he wants change right now because that's why he's voting for the Democratic Party, because he knows that the other party has no opportunity to win. And Proper is saying it's a protracted struggle. So let's continue to fight in that direction because I understand it's a protracted struggle and it's not an instant gratification that you want to keep getting from the Democratic Party. So who is the one on here talking about they looking for instant gratification or immediate change because we don't want to fight for it? We understand that the Green is not going to win right now, but we understand that due to their diligence that they're getting closer. So jump on board.
Okay, can I respond?
Dog ball it now, bro. Okay, but you got to look at that, JT. Is the only way to change, but the only way to invoke change, JT. The only way to invoke change is we have to do something different. You can't keep saying that they're not going to win. Yes, they're not going to win because listen, the money's not being put in their parties the way it's put in the two that being that's being presented to us. But we have to understand that if you want change, you have to then make change. So you have to look at this like we have to. The only way for those parties to get to the ballot box and for them to get some type of currency in American politics, it's going to start first, I think, with Black people. We have to look at what's been done to us in the history of these two parties and look at something different. This best of both evils and just dealing with what's in front of us. These people are not doing anything for our community, and we got to look at it, brother. We have
to.
So
can I respond? Can I respond to you?
Respond.
So let's go back in history and let's look at the Civil Rights Act of 1968, whenever it passed. That wasn't something that started in 1968, and that was the Democrats, people. That was something that took years to form it, and then finally the Democrats got enough votes. The people who agreed to that policy got enough votes to pass it, and that's what I'm talking about. Persuadable, okay? It's not something that you want to go to a party that has literally no. I'm talking about third party that literally has almost zero support. Like what? I have to wait until my grandchildren
absolutely
vote for the Green Party to even do something.
Absolutely.
All I'm saying is the Democrats are here right now.
1968.
If you can't convince them right now,
Martin Luther King had to die. Martin Luther King had to die. Martin Luther King had to die. Martin Luther King had to die.
And Malcolm.
That would be a major event, and we understand that these parties still continue to be in place when that next major event, and it look like it might be coming soon. It looked like it might be coming soon, because I do agree with what people are saying now. I said, man, I can't wait till this thing is over. And they said, ain't going to be no over. If Trump get in there, it's going to be some mess. And if Kamala get in there, there's going to be some mess. Because these white boys...
no mess with Kamala's in there.
No. It ain't got nothing to do...
They're not equivalent. You got a crazy...
You're not... Listen, let me finish. I'm not saying Kamala is equivalent to a Trump. But what I am saying is these white boys hate Black people and Black women even more enough to do something. So it's going to be some mess. Just like when Obama got in there, bro. We go way back. When Obama got in there, it was some mess. It was a lot of mess. I'm not saying the equivalent. I'm just saying Kamala's a little bit more convincing.
Hey, Dennis, you remember when I called into your show and tried to defend Hillary? And you and the crew, it wasn't you. Your crew was trying to talk bad about her. Let me tell you something. I bet you they think different now. Because
I don't think they
Trump
do.
is a whole different animal.
But Trump,
way back then.
Look, I'm gonna tell you one thing about Trump. Trump, at least I had entertainment from the politicians, because when Biden came up in this joint, man, things got dry. But no,
Hillary Clinton. At
least I knew we was gonna have a conversation about Trump every day.
Hillary Clinton a trophy. She's just as bad as Trump.
Yeah, she is. Look, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, dang, when Trump was in the White House, at least I could know that we gonna talk about Trump today. And look, Trump has made so much noise. Look, more Black people are looking at politics more than they ever did because of Trump. Obama was the first side of the pendulum, and then Trump came on in the other side. And guess what? Black people, they looking at some things now more than they did in the past because of that pendulum swing. And guess what? When Trump was in the White House, we was talking more about oppression than what he truly was even doing. Like literally, we was just afraid. We were talking about the fear of what Trump would do. I'm not saying Trump wasn't reckless. He was. And Trump is reckless. Let's keep that a buck. But at the end of the day, the Democrats are not any less reckless.
They just hide it better.
I would strongly disagree with that. They are nowhere near as reckless as the Republican Party. You have a Republican saying he wants slavery back. Tell me a Democrat that's saying that, Dennis.
A Democrat that's saying what?
You got
okay, what's hold on. Tell me
stop any type of Black history discussion.
Look, Republicans. No. Republicans will. I don't know who you're talking about, but okay, let's go ahead. But JT facts. We've been talking about this the whole show as if you're not picking it up. That Democrats, as Malcolm said, are more like foxes, and Republicans are more like wolves. Right. So if you understand that, look, take that Malcolm picture off the wall. Take it off. Take it off now. Stop it! What are you doing?
Agree with some things Malcolm says, but I don't agree with everything.
But you don't believe the fox. You don't believe the fox is grinning. You don't believe the fox is grinning. Hold on, was it Malcolm or was it Stokely Carmichael? But nonetheless, one of his brilliant brothers. Say it again, brother. Proper.
Yeah. Malcolm said that.
Malcolm, right? So what the point we're making is, and you're well astute and well educated to know that neither one of these parties, that these parties support the. You think the Democratic Party is the party against the status quo? Really?
I think the Democrats are capable of being influenced to the right direction. I don't think the Republicans are able. I don't think you can talk to the Republicans and able to influence them to do anything that would be right for the country.
I think that's easier. I think that's easy. That's a task, right? Because I know brothers here who are doing some serious work with pulling Democrats further to the left, as what you're articulating here. They're doing some good work, but it's not many of them that's going left. Because, guys, man, look, I teach, and me teaching different types of groups of people, it lets me see how lost we truly are. Most of us drink this punch. I know you don't drink the punch. I know you know all this stuff. I know that you're well-intentioned, but most of our people are not JT Facts who can. If our people was like JT Facts and they were in the Democratic Party like JT Facts, and we had a lot of people who could think like JT Facts, I would agree with that. But most of our people will not move. There's going to have to be a damn catastrophe, or damn something, in order to make us move. I'm not saying I want that catastrophe, but what I am saying is events give enough steam to help people do some things. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that we are not moving to further to the left because I don't want to lose my trinkets. I didn't earn my degree. I don't want to lose my government contracts. I don't want to, like, I was on a whole call with a lady just talking about, and that's what I'm saying. The Democratic White Feminist Party, what I'm calling it, literally, I mean, like, I'm not trying to come back with this whole abortion thing, but we got to have a deeper conversation about it and all these different things that black people don't even agree with wholeheartedly the same way. I'm not saying they don't think there's room for this, but there has to be nuance, and these conversations aren't about us and our political values and views. These are more about white women.
But Dennis, that's the difference between the Democratic and the Republican Party. You can have differences in the Democratic Party. I don't believe in everything.
No values,
that
but no value. But
white feminists agree with. I don't agree with everything.
They're the ones that rule it. The thought is pervasive, though. That is the pervasive thought. The white feminists, when I hear federal level stuff, is whatever feminists approve of. If feminist liberals approve of it, that is what we run on.
I disagree with you. And I can be specific. For example, the whole trans women in sports issue. All right. A lot of Democrats don't agree with it. A lot of Democrats do agree with it. So we still could talk about it, but that's not no one policy. Where
let's unpack that.
Once the Republican says something and it comes down from the top, that's it.
What is the feminist belief in that? What is the feminist belief in that? Tell me what the feminist belief, and let's unpack it.
These are the trans women are women too, and they should be able to participate in sports just like biological women. There's a lot of Democrats.
No, I think the feminist view is. I think the feminist views are across the spectrum, and when that particular point, I think.
Yeah, you say across the spectrum. That's because the Democrats we don't agree. That's why it's across the spectrum. But that's the beauty of the Democratic Party.
No. What I'm saying is, but the feminists don't support that enough to make it a point. This is just hypothetical for me. I would have to look at the data, and I don't think you have the data either. So what I'm saying is, what the feminists do support, that is what the party's going to run on. Let me tell you, whatever feminists do, even in academia, whatever feminists say you can say. That's how even academia works. Like, if you speak against feminists, like, I'm not saying off, like, feminists have some good things, but they have hijacked a lot of our African-centered, black talking points and movements and all those type of things. We know that it's even in the books. It's written. It's historical that these feminist white women literally fight for white women first, and they want black women and black people to come in and support them. But when you start talking about black people issues, feminists turn red. They turn red. They become fragile, and then they start pointing the finger. Look, look. Some people tell me don't do DEI stuff. Look, I didn't do it. Anecdotally, experientially, I've seen these white feminist women. I work with them. I've taught them and everything. And I used to be a lot more optimistic until I realized how much trauma they have, as a result of what this society has done to us. White women get all the passes in this society and act like they didn't own us and enslave us and make money off of us, and they get the bulk of the DEI stuff. They get jobs, they get contracts and all that stuff, while we sit up there competing, and somehow didn't even will talk to me and say, I'm a white woman and you're a black man, so now we're both using intersectionality, so that you are we're both equally oppressed. Hell no. Look, tell Emmett Till that. Tell all the black people who went down to the South and looked at the white woman a certain way and how she lied and did this and did that. Although she might have been sleeping with some people, but who did she tell on it? How did she lie? And who did she say raped her?
Dennis, I mostly agree with you, but I think you overestimate the power of white feminists, especially in the political arena. I think in the business and educational fields, I agree with you, but in the political arena, all
that's political. You know why they're powerful in these political places? Because the political decisions are what allow them to get in these spaces. Without those political decisions, they would not be the majority in these positions, because the political decisions make room for them to come in and co-opt positions that were intended for other people. So we can't disconnect them. Hey, JT, you got me looking like a political rock star out here. You got me looking like a political rock star. And you the political man.
Election political arena where you're elected.
Electorally, they run on policies.
As you're talking.
Hold up. Let me make sure. Let me give you. Hold up, JT. Back up, JT. Back up. Say it again, because I want to give you a free chance so I can come back and slash it again. Go ahead.
Okay. I said in the elected political official arena, I think you overestimate the power of white feminists. I agree with you when you're talking about the business and educational fields. Yes, I agree 100%. But in the political arena, there's so many black elected officials now that they don't hold the power that you're talking about. That's all I'm saying.
Wrong again. Brother, what are you talking about? Who do they want? Who is the Democratic Party appeasing at this point to elect Kamala? Who are the black women calling out? And why were they calling them out? Because they know those white women, including the feminist ones. Feminists can go across both political parties, by the way. Most of them tend to go to the quote unquote left. But the thing is, they also a conservative feminists as well. But they have called and demanded that these white women come out, and white women need to show up this year. And that's the reason why Hillary wasn't elected, because these white women vote
for Trump.
Well, Dennis, was it white feminists who wanted Kamala to be vice president? Were they pushing for Kamala to be vice president? I don't think so, Dennis.
I would agree with you.
Was pushing Joe Biden to pick a black woman. Same as the pressure that he felt when he picked Ketanji. It's the same thing.
I can agree.
How much power they have.
Well, let me say white women now. But let me say white women, and I kind of put that in my framing that fight white feminists on both sides, even, right? But also, I agree with you holistically. But what I am also saying, white feminist points politically show up in our classrooms, show up in our local politics, show up in our business law. It shows up because these are very feminist points that you could never. These are the laws that Democrats pass. What feminists? I'm talking about Democrats. I'm talking about these are the laws they pass. Anything revolutionary, the most revolutionary you can get in politics is to the level of a white feminist. This is what I'm arguing. I ain't never heard nobody say it, but that is the most revolutionary you can get. Anything past a white feminism is not going to. It's going to be hell to get it to pass. White feminist stuff is popular. It's popular to talk about, and I'm not. And look, and I think body and all that type of thing, but white feminists are the ones who talk about these things. So we repeat things that they say. It's so popular. All you gotta do is just look at the policies. I don't have to research every policy to realize that everything that's passed and what is acceptable in this country, that is the furthest left you're gonna go, is to some of the white feminist points, because white women are acceptable to some degree. They're the biggest in white women. And we can't look, we always got to even include them in the conversation. Like, oh yeah, black men and black women and Latinos and yeah, white women too. And then we know that white women owned us. We know that white women gets things the Democrats pass, what white women want passed. We know that the things we fought for, they hijack in legislation and everything and in business, and you cannot disconnect business, medical, none of that from white women, white feminist women.
A lot of the policies, let's be specific, Dennis.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the policies that's been passed by the Democrats haven't been just for white feminists. Let's look at
I didn't say just. Let's
look at the Medicare
they benefit from that. Yes, that's that. Yeah. White women benefit. I'm not saying it's not a halfway good thing, but what I'm saying is that they are the litmus test. They are the thing. So if white women approve of that, then it will be a policy that we will push forward. If white women don't approve of it, white women, feminists, do not approve for the most part of reparations. I'm talking about liberals. The left, like Jill Stein, she would approve of, or people like that would approve of it, but feminists have a problem with people like Jill Stein.
A subject like reparations will take time to convince people to come to our side on this.
We only been doing it for 1,000 years.
I believe
no. I am just saying standing up for it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying how long it's going to take, but I'm telling you what is socially, what is appropriate to say on TV is only to the most revolutionary you can be in public is that which white feminists approve of. Follow me. That is the most revolutionary you can be. I'm not saying it's not beneficial to some degree, but it's only as beneficial as white women approve. I'm telling you this. That is the look. Whatever white women make popular, like let's think of all the words that white feminists and liberals say. Whatever white liberals say, whatever is popular, whatever type of catechisms that the new catechisms that they utilize. The new not catechism. Well, they're catechisms as well, but the new euphemisms that they utilize. That's what we can say. We know this. We can't say nothing more than what a white liberal would say. Whatever white liberals say, that is what is socially appropriate. Proper. What you got?
I mean, I agree with you almost 100% on that. I was gonna say it sounded like something that JT Facts was saying about reparations, trying to get everybody, to come on board. I'm just like, in this country today, the U.S. government sends billions of dollars to Israel. There's a ton of white people that don't agree with that. They still send that money. They send billions of dollars to the Ukraine. There's half of this country, half of the white people don't want that money gone. It still get gone. So this idea that we can't get reparations unless we get all of these white people on board, I don't buy that. The government does whatever is politically expedient based on the pressures that are applied to them. We don't apply the pressure for reparations. What we do is make excuses for why we can't get it. If we applied the pressure that is needed, and if we did especially if we pulled up on the international scene and operated the way Malcolm X was making attempts to operate to again increase the political global pressures on the government, then there would be an official sit down at the table and rendering of reparations, whether 50% of white people agreed or not, whether 25% of white people agreed or not, just like they send all that money everywhere else all over this world, and half of white people in this country that vote don't agree with it.
Okay, proper. You're talking about, and I encounter this a lot. You're talking about what needs to happen, but you're not really talking about how it needs to happen.
Okay.
Proper.
Okay.
How does pressure be applied? How is pressure applied?
Okay. How was Malcolm X planning to apply the pressure? How do we apply pressure on an incident of police brutality? How do we apply pressure on an incident of discrimination in a restaurant? The pressure is the same. We do the same things. We just, one, we got to stop stopping the movement. And two, we have to, like for George Floyd, the George Floyd incident caused so much of an uproar that there were people in other countries, people in African countries that thought Black Americans got gravy over there, started waking up and saying, they started going in the streets of their own country saying, yo, y'all treating them people wrong. That's because of whatever mechanisms that were in play. Some of it was totally from within the Black community. Some of it came from outside agencies and outside forces that were allies, so on and so forth. But those are the pressures, the same pressures that we applied to get the civil rights legislation finally approved. You know, Martin Luther King didn't only, some of the things that he strategized and planned for was to increase national and international awareness so that the government is going to look real stupid. Malcolm X was working on ways and methods and mechanisms to get the UN to step in. So those are the things that if we continue to do them, we could get the reparations, or we could at least get the ball rolling with a way more momentum than what we've got now. We continue to stop and make excuses and to say, well, now ain't the time, and we got to get, rather than fight for reparations, let's just make sure that we put a Black man in office and we'll talk about it later. That's what we said for Obama. And so we're saying the same thing with Kamala. Let's not use that as the litmus test. Let's just get her in the office, and then we'll see if we can have a conversation.
Excuse me, Papa. I want to answer my own question, and you said it a long way, but I'm going to really shorten it. You do this how? Because my original question to you was how you do this. How do you apply pressure? And you apply pressure by gathering support. Okay, and the way you gather support takes time, and that's what I'm talking about when I talk about reparations taking time. You got to get more support. The reason why reparations is not passing is not because all these people don't believe in reparations. The reason why reparations is not passing is because there's not support for reparations right at this moment. But that could change in time. That could change. So,
but
yes, California didn't pass the resolution on reparations right now, but that could be different in 2025 and 2026 as it gets more support. And that's how things happen.
But one thing though, Brother JT, like Stephen Biko speaks about, it has to be consciousness has to change first. And if Kamala can stand on the stage and suggest that, yes, when she's in front of your boy up there in New York with you with the bad hairdo, tell him, yes, Yes, I will vote on it when I get in there. And then turn around and say something totally different in relatively short periods of time. We ain't talking about a long time here. We ain't talking about somebody who settled her decision. We heard even the question around reparations, how she tap danced around it when she was recently on, what's that, the Root or whatever, the Root, was it with the Root or something like that? With the black, the black journalist.
The journalist?
Yeah, the black journalist, how she tap dance and boogie down and showed you how she can do the split and the wop. You understand? And how she just danced around the question. And you asked me, let's going back to the point that I was making earlier, that you asked me, and I'm supposed to trust that as a psychotherapist. I am telling you that is some suspect behaviors if I have to put forth an analysis. Okay, one, that seems like for people who have very high morals, it's very difficult for them to stay in places where they have to buck dance. I'm going to tell you that. I guarantee you, JT, if you went in those positions, as much as you talk in this SHIT, when you get up in there, you're going to be too damn revolutionary. I mean, it's easy for you to sit back in your Brooklyn place and say that and wear your Brooklyn blue and all of that type of thing. But I guarantee you that if you were up in that space, you would get the hell out of Dodge. I can almost guarantee that you could not do enough shenanigans to stay and promote that type of stuff once you got up in there. And two, let's go back to what you said to Proper. What you said to Proper is this. You said, well, look, it's not a, you said, well, you kind of supported the view that we were making when you said that most of these women aren't really supporting maybe like there's a multiplicity view with liberal white women about Palestine and Israel, right? And because there's a multiplicity and such a variety or varying thought, there's not a strong enough a position with white women when the white women, or the as my man Lamont Watkins is saying here, and I agree with him, even LGBTQ plus white LGBTQ plus issues, anything that involves white people on the quote unquote left or quote unquote liberals, because LGBTQ plus is a liberal position. White feminist stuff is a white position. Long as white people have something to do with it, it's okay. We can get all types of stuff that we think is being passed for us, but it has to be someone in white also being inflicted by it and fighting it. You know. So, and I'm not any spell to understand that someone has to. I do think though, if we had people that, if and of course this is not going to happen like tomorrow. I guarantee you, I agree with you. But if enough of us stand for something, yes, and I'm not saying just a cliche, including Kamala and some other, look, Skip Gates said, right? Skip Gates said when we went to, you probably saw the video when he did it. He was like, yeah, we all the first group of black people who benefited from affirmative action. We went in there and we had our afros and our picks and all of this thing. And, then when we got there, the caviar got good. And after some point, we forgot we were black and we assimilated and all this type of thing. I am telling you, for someone to last as long in those systems at that level, they have to buck dance for the rest of their lives because they don't want to lose what they got.
Dennis, it almost seems like you want to penalize Kamala.
It's not Kamala.
Being crafty.
She ain't being crafty. I don't agree that she's being crafty. No, but just go. Okay, back up and breathe. Understand what I just said. Look, at least listen to what I just said. At least make sense out of what I just said. I just gave you an analogy. Did you not hear the analogy?
I heard your analogy.
Okay, so what I am doing is I am equating Kamala to what Skip Gates said happened to them. They went in with their black power fist, and then the caviar got good. And when the caviar got good, the pick left the pocket, and guess what else? They left the pocket. And many times they left the pocket, and I'm not against people's choice of who they pick up, but they left the pocket for real. You know what I mean? So I think, so they left the pocket and left the pocket. You dig?
Guys,
you got to close this out, Queen.
This has been a spirited conversation, but we've been here for 2 hours. I mean, and I thank you everyone who's sitting here with us, Lamont, Ausar, Baba Ausar, and the many people. Proper. Listen, JT Facts is beautiful having you here, but it's been 2 hours.
I'm glad he came though. I was waiting for JT. I was waiting for JT. I say JT ain't responding to these things. I know he mad at me over there, but you know. I mean, I get it though. I know Kamala. I know Kamala is.
JT
I know. I mean, I know Kamala's going to make it feel softer. I get it. I understand. We like it feel softer. We like it. I get it.
He's a good
person. And she looks good. Yeah, so she
can make it feel
good. He's a good person, and I vote for good people. Trump is not a good person, bro. He's a selfish guy just for his kind and just for him.
They got overt narcissists. They got overt narcissists, and they got covert narcissists. Let me just let you know that they have overt. Hold on. What about Biden? What about Biden? Which one is he?
Thank you, because he flip flopped in our community too.
Biden has his faults. Biden has his faults. But if you want to have a conversation about his faults that he helped pass, we can have that. All right.
He didn't even.
All right, let's do it. Let's come back. JT, come with the facts next time, brother. JT, come with the facts next time. JT, come with the facts.
Let's go do this thing.
Bro, I broke you down. Look, go look at this again. Go look at this again. I hate to have put my brother on the hot seat like this today. I overestimated your challenge. I overestimated the challenge of the fact master. My dear brother up in NY.
I'm coming for you, Dennis.
Hey, look, I'm telling you, I appreciate this season, right? Because I've been out of this, right, for a while. And I appreciate this season, having so many different thoughts from Dr. Ball to Dr. Kimya to JT. It's like these people help me have to think about this. And guess what? I'm coming. Because I don't need to read so much policy to know that it's BS or that is not going to give us the results that we're looking for overall. Ain't no policy going to give us that policy there that we talking about. It's good. It touches my heart. It does. My own dear mother need insulin cheaper. You got what I'm saying? I got a whole family like that. You got what I'm saying? And God knows I might need that one, might need it. But what I am saying, that ain't going to liberate us as a whole.
Listen, this has been a spirited conversation. I'm telling you. Brother Dr. you cooking tonight.
Policies, promises, behavior is past act.
JT, we're closing the show, JT. JT.
All right.
JT Facts. It's over, bro.
Listen, blessings.
Listen, we'll be back here next Thursday. We're gonna have a fire topic. We might have to continue some of this because listen, we're about 30, like probably 30 just past 30 days before the election. So we need to have this talk more and more. And JT, I want you to look at more than just Democrat, Republican. There's other things out here. You might want to.
He knows. He knows. Don't do that to my man. He does know that. He would believe me. I don't even have to ask him. I know one time he was a third party guy, and I already know he's too. You just can tell how he talk. So we do change. I change sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I keep thinking, and then I might be over there with a blue shirt on talking about Brooklyn Kamala one day. But please smack me. You know what I'm saying? But
you crazy. You are crazy. Listen, we appreciate everybody in the chat who didn't hurt. Lamont, thanks for dropping what you dropped.
B-boy Kamala.
Lamont is on it. Listen, we had some great comments in the chat tonight. We had you brothers, Brother Proper, Brother Shabazz. We love when you come on. You're always dropping it. JT, you got to come back. Bring that Brooklyn.
Well, man, bring it, man. As appreciation. Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? I don't know if he represented right. You looking like Keedy Awadu over there. You know Keedy?
Oh my God.
You look like Keedy Awadu. I do 1,000 push-ups on my fingers, but
listen, Doc in the Box every Thursday, guys, at 9 p.m. Doc in the Box.
Hey,
Thursday at 9
Hey,
p.m.
what's my dear sister? Let me apologize to her again. What's my dear sister's name? Monica. Thank you for pumping me up, Monica. Because you came for Queen, although I agreed with you. You agreed. Look, you agreed. You were supporting me, but you came for Queen. She was like, look, do your research. But so I parsed it, but nonetheless, look, Queen, you gonna close us out?
I'm gonna close out. Monica, I think she didn't even come from Facebook. She said, I'm not even coming from YouTube. So she never came through. But anyway, we had some powerful guests who came on. And listen, this is what we do. You can come on with us. You can challenge DAW. He was cooking tonight. JT, I feel sorry for you, bro. He came for you tonight. He came for you tonight. He cooked for you tonight.
Love, good brother.
We have different perspectives.
Yeah. Some
perspectives are right, and some
we appreciate your love.
Right. Some perspectives are right.
Absolutely. No. What we gotta appreciate is that you see the disagreement and you still see the love, right? And that's how we should be able to do it.
Yeah, that's how it should be. So we're gonna do this again on Thursday. Listen, come on in here. I think we're gonna stay on politics a little because listen, we are close to this election. This is a conversation we should have. We love having dissenting opinions. That's what we do here. So this is Black Box Radio. This is please like, share, subscribe. Go to Dar's page, Dr. Dennis Ausar Winkler. Like, share, subscribe over there too. And black up the algorithm. We box them out. Let's get some deuces, bro. We out of here. JT. All right, we gone, guys.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is DOC.